All right, here we go, guys. So this is the Product Mastery webinar. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is something that has been, I guess, on my to-do list for quite some time. I really just wanted to make sure that I was able to take all of the knowledge that I wanted to incorporate this and package it up in something that is easier to understand, so that it's not just me rambling on about products for 2 hours, which we'll do a little bit of that, of course. But I wanted to be able to lay things out in a very organized fashion. And I guess I should explain a little bit about how I've come up with this information. And a lot of it is just through massive amounts of experience, not just testing in my own stores for my own companies, but also through the extremely fortunate experience I have to work with tons of clients. And I get to help them pick out their winning products and to test them and to navigate that process with them. And it's just been an extremely rewarding experience for me, knowledge-wise, where I'm just constantly getting better and better and better. And I've kind of chiseled down, refined, if you will, some of the most important things, some questions, I guess, if you will, that I like to ask about every product that help us determine whether or not it makes sense to test a product. And the most important thing that I can teach you today is the mindset involved with that process. So when you look at a product, you should be able to you should be able to ask yourself these questions and come up with the answers on your own. And so let's dive right in, guys. And I'm going to start out here with the basics, things that we have discussed in previous webinars. But for those of you that haven't seen them, it's important that we discuss them, because we're going to go much, much deeper, not just into each of these pillars, but beyond. All right, so the 3 pillars of a winning product, as most of you already know, most important thing is eye-catching. Okay, if you can't grab somebody's attention, they're never going to buy it. It's that simple. If you're creative, if your picture, if your video is not eye-catching, if it's not going to make them stop scrolling on their phone because they're looking at fast cars, they're looking at hot chicks or dudes, whatever your thing, they're looking at very visually stimulating things. And if your product is not also that, it's not going to get attention, okay? It's very hard to draw people away because we're not selling to shoppers. We are ambushing people with our product. We're ambush marketers. So eye-catching is the most important pillar. Number 2, perceived value. All right, do they feel like this thing is worth what you're charging? Is it going to add value to their lives? All right, what is, they can't, if they look at it and it's just a piece of junk, even if it got their attention, if it's a piece of junk, most likely not going to buy it. Now, I've seen pieces of junk sell, but obviously having a high perceived value can drastically improve your chances of success. And the last pillar is margin. Are you going to make a profit? And that's just number crunching, guys. It's just arithmetic. But we're going to take a deep dive into margin as well, because there are some other considerations that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to margin. And you hear me talk a lot about how you need a $30 margin. Well, you don't necessarily need it off of one variant if there's a likelihood of people buying more than one. And we're going to dive into that and why people might do that. So yeah, eye-catching. One very important part of eye-catching, it's not enough to just put bright colors on a screen. The customer needs to instantly recognize what it is that you're selling. All right. So if Facebook has categorized them into a specific targeting group and you're using the correct targeting, then that means they're interested in your product, right? If you're selling a pair of shoes and you're targeting shoes, and Facebook thinks this person is interested in buying shoes, and Facebook is very smart. They know everything, right? They have all the data. So if the person it isn't able to instantly recognize what it is that you're selling. Okay, so sometimes pictures zoomed out too far. Maybe it's a photo of a person wearing, it's a full body shot, and you're just selling the shoes. There is not instant recognition of what you're selling. All right, it needs to be instantaneous. They need to know what they're being sold. Okay. That's one reason why, and a lot of people stay away from like white background images like stock photos, but honestly they do just fine as long as the photo itself looks good, as long as the product looks high quality. White background images work because it's instant recognition. They know what they're being sold, and you're targeting people who are interested in buying those things. 1 + 1 = 2. So the other eye-catching thing, things that draw people in, is that they feel like they can relate to it, right? So that's all about the targeting, making sure you're getting the right niche, and drawing emotion from the product. This product is going to make me feel a certain way if I buy it. It's going to make me feel better looking. It's going to make me feel like my house is more sophisticated or artsy. It's going to make me feel like I have a better chance at cooking a delicious meal for my family, or maybe it defines me. Maybe it's like a gothic product, or it's an athletic product, or something like that, and it fits into a very specific, passionate niche. And here's another one that a lot of people don't consider is your customer needs to actually see themselves using this product. That it's not, you can get someone's attention with something that's absolutely ridiculous, but if it's too far out there and they don't feel like they're actually going to use it, then you've significantly reduced your pool of people who might actually check out. Okay, so that's why a lot of people are shocked when I show them some of my winning products, and they're like, "It's so simple." And it's like, well, yeah, because people like simple things. People, like plain, simple things. What do you see the average person wearing? What do you see the average person putting in their home? What do you see the average person cooking with? What do you see the average person giving to their child to play with? It's normal things, right? And people need to be able to see themselves actually using it. Practical product that isn't just going to sit on the shelf somewhere or get thrown away or whatever, all right? Perceived value. What does the product look like it's worth? Some people struggle with this, especially if you're not from the US, you don't know US currency, you don't know what things sell for here. You're going to have to struggle with that a little bit. You're going to have to maybe do some research. Personally, I have a good instinct with products where I'm like, I feel like someone would pay $50 for that, and it doesn't have to be, there's no science to it. It's just, do you think you can convince someone that it's worth $50? Because that's what you're going to do with the way you set up your offer, the way you describe your product, the way you present yourself, how professional your website is, those types of things. What do you feel like it's worth? What does it look like it's worth to you? All right. And if you're really, really struggling, if you're not willing to trust your gut, then you're going to have to do a little bit of research on it. You're going to have to just research other manufacturers and brands. But I hope that you would learn to trust your gut, because you can bend the rules a little bit. And just because other brands think that their product is worth a certain amount, maybe they're wrong. Maybe you could charge more, or maybe it would sell at a higher conversion rate, thus yielding more profit at a lower price. So you have to balance all the pros and cons of that. Product should be the sweet spot for a product that will go viral is that it's one step above what they already own or what they would normally buy. Okay, if you go too far out there, they just can't relate to it anymore. It's just too weird for them. So if they're buying a broom, if you're selling a broom, you need to know, you need to have in your mind what it is about this product that you're going to convince them makes it better than the one they already own. If you're selling them a pair of shoes, you need to be able to convince them that they're a little bit better than the pair they already have in their closet. We live in a very the people that we're selling to generally have disposable income, and they're, as far as human history goes, they're quite wealthy, if they have money to spend on dumb stuff. So they're, in a lot of scenarios, replacing something that they already have. Okay, so you have to convince them that it's better than the one that they want to replace. but it can't just be so like crazy and weird that they just don't relate to it anymore. Okay, so just one step above, just a little bit better than the one that they already own, and that's the perfect sweet spot because they can see themselves using that. It's easy to grasp the quality advantage, the quality gain for this new product. This is also where your creative talent comes into play here, guys. You can have an effect on the perceived value. You can and will affect the perceived value with your copy, with your ad copy, or your product description. It's the same thing, since we use the same thing for both. We write the description copy to the ads for congruency's sake. But you can affect the perceived value. If you can't write grammatically correct sentences, your perceived value of the brand goes down. People aren't going to be willing to pay money for your whatever it is if they think that you can't draw a couple sentences together that sound decent. You can affect the perceived value in a positive way by emphasizing certain features or aspects of the product that, like what is it that makes it one step better? What is it about it? Like if you can really, really like describe that in a way that makes them believe it, that makes them excited about it, then the perceived value of the product goes up. You can affect the perceived value with your offer. So let's say with this product, and we'll get deeper into this here in a bit, but let's say it's a product that we decide to do a bundle on. All right, you can affect the perceived value of your product by charging way too much for the individual variants and then giving them a killer deal on the bundle. So they think, oh wow, this flower vase, they're $60 a piece. But if I buy two, I get one for free. And they're like, wow, I'm getting a $60 vase for free. All right. So you can affect the perceived value with the way you structure your offer. And again, what is the key feature of this product? You need to have one thing about it that you can just like totally, blow up and make it sound like it's the most amazing thing. Is it handmade? Is it made of genuine leather? Is it artisan crafted or whatever? A lot of times you can kind of not necessarily. You obviously can't lie. We don't want to take part in false marketing and so on and so forth. But you can embellish. Okay, you can brag about your product. And you have to, you should brag about your product. So you can sort of kind of fabricate in a way, the value of the product. You can say like that, let's say it's a pair of genuine leather shoes. There's a lot of really great ad copies online about genuine leather and how it develops character as it ages. It's going to look better in a year than it does now and it's going to be custom to you and the way that it molds to your foot and so on and so forth. It's genuine leather has been used for clothing for thousands of years and blah blah blah. Like you can like really just embellish, right? Like you just really get into it, and that's what you should do with every product. You should have like one feature that you just really just kind of keep bragging about. And once you do that work with that feature, you'll start to notice like other products have that feature and you can start reusing the same type of copy for other products. Margin. All right. So as I said already, goal should be about $30 for most products, but you never want to dip under a 2x markup. So let's say the cost on your product's $100. You're not going to sell it for $130. That would be stupid. You'd want to sell it for about $199. So you never want to do less than a 2x markup in my experience. But your goal for most products that you're probably going to be testing is about $30. You want to anticipate buyer behavior when you're thinking about your margins. What is the likelihood that your customers are going to buy more than one variant? You need to learn to anticipate that. And the way that you can do that is just think about real life, right? Like usually simple things for like let's say it's a home decor product. Let's say you have like 3 sculptures that you're going to sell, and it's like they kind of like go together. It's a similar style. Well, there's going to be an increased likelihood of people buying more than one because they want to get the full set, or they want to get two pieces or whatever to, put them on their shelf or whatever it is. There's a higher likelihood of people buying more than one. Let's say it's a hoodie. It's not uncommon for people to have multiple colors of different hoodies, right? So they might have a green one and a black one and a gray one and a white one. So people are, if they like really love this style and this fit of this hoodie, they're probably going to, there's a likelihood that they're going to buy more than one color. If they feel like they're getting a good deal, if you've got your perceived value correct and you've got your ad copy killing it, there's an increased likelihood of multiple variant purchases. So maybe for a hoodie, you could deal with a $20 margin because you know that maybe 20 to 30% of your customers are going to buy a second hoodie. And then on those orders, you're going to have, a $40, $45 margin. Now, if there's a lower likelihood of people buying more than one, like let's say, for example, let's see, let's say you're selling a kitchen utensil set, okay? People usually don't have more than one set unless they're going to give it away as a gift. I'd say that the likelihood of people buying more than one set of kitchen utensils is pretty low, right? You're going to have a couple of people here and there might get one for their brother or their grandma or something like that. They're just like, oh, this is really nice. I want to give it to somebody as well. Get one for myself and somebody else. But the likelihood of that happening, of you being able to rely on that's quite low. So you need to get your $30 margin or more off of a single variant, off of a single purchase, of them not buying more than one, okay? And again, so you can influence this margin by utilizing bundles, pricing strategy. Sometimes you can, let's say the perceived value is sort of low. Maybe you can only sell, let's say it's a $10 cost product and you feel like it's really only worth $19.99 or something like that. Well, maybe you do a bundle and you force them to buy three. Okay, so you get your $30, $35 margin. You just create a manual variant and say that this is the offer. You buy three or none. And so you can take a product. If it's a good product, you can do that. And but again, it's got to be something that makes sense. You're not going to force someone to buy 3 sets of kitchen utensils. So it has to make sense for the product to do that. All right, so those are just the 3 pillars. All right, so let's get into some other considerations here. We're going to go beyond the basics now. So seasonality and timing. All right. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this because it really is just common sense. But pay attention to what's going on outside. Don't sell summer products. Don't sell swimming suits in the wintertime. Don't sell sandals in the wintertime. You just pay attention to the seasons. And if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, you live in Australia or whatever, you're going to have to get used to opposite seasons. You need to work with where the majority of your audience is coming from and sell appropriate to the seasons of the U.S. and Europe and so forth. You can start seasonal items 1 month prior to their start. So you can start winter products in the middle of autumn, or like you can start Christmas products like right around Thanksgiving, or you want to start anticipating these things so that you can get a head start on the competition. Okay, you want to get in like a month or 2 before the appropriate season so that you have enough time to stop selling too, because you should probably stop selling your products about 3 to 4 weeks prior to when they would need it. That way, I mean, not if it's just like a basic winter, like let's say you're selling a winter hat, you're not gonna like stop selling it when winter comes. But if it's a Christmas product, you want to, for holidays, I guess I should say. Now think about, let's take it a little bit deeper. That's just the basic stuff, guys. But also think about how the seasons affect people in their day-to-day life. For example, we try to utilize, how does the season affect what people are doing? Okay, so spring's normally rainy. So what do people need when it rains? You can do umbrellas. We had really good luck with a car seat cover for pets and targeting like dog parks and dog walking and things like that, because their pods get muddy and there's a higher likelihood of people. Now people might buy a a car seat cover all year, like any time of the year, but you want to launch products during the optimal time. That's going to give you the most chances of success. So let's say you find a winner and it's not the optimal time for that product. Just save it, okay? Save it for the optimal time. Another thing about timing, like I'd say, is with like phone accessories. I pretty much don't screw with phone accessories unless a new phone came out. So iPhone 12 just came out. So this is a perfect time to be crushing it with iPhone 12 accessories, because there's a lot of new people out there with new phones that need new stuff. But after the product's been out for several months, likelihood of success significantly drops unless something like new and revolutionary comes out. All right. But generally speaking, we just pay attention to device launches and prepare those things for right around the time that they launch and for like a month or two after. Okay. World has changed. All right. And it is affecting product selection. The types of products that are working this year are extremely different from what was working in 2019. People are working from home, kids are learning from home, college students are learning from home, most activities functions are canceled or significantly reducing capacity. All right. So people aren't going to church. They're not, they don't need dress shoes. They're not going to work, not going to church. So less people are buying dress shoes. Sure. Some people are, but the audience size is so much smaller that in order to produce a profit with cold traffic is significantly more difficult. All right. But it's not all bad news. Now, because people are doing less of these normal things, they're doing more of other things. And we just have to think about how life has changed. Another product that has not done well this year is backpacks. Normally, we crush it with backpacks all year long. But this year, people aren't traveling. They aren't going to school. Not very many people are buying backpacks, okay? Or travel accessories, those types of things. Now, here's when it gets a little bit more positive, right? So a lot of restaurants are closed for indoor dining, that kind of stuff. So a lot more people are cooking from home. They need cooking utensils. They need pots and pans. They need, tools to chop their food or, whatever. So think about because they can't do this, they're doing more of this. That's the mindset. People are stuck in the house all day and they're tired of looking at this cobwebby, boring home that they normally didn't really care about because they're normally at work all day, but now they're working from home. So they're like, man, I want to make this place a little bit nicer. So they're dressing up their home office. They're getting things for their desk, for their walls. They're making their living room look nicer. They're buying home decor stuff. Lots of home decor stuff has done very well this year. They're cleaning the house more because they're spending more time in it. So it gets dirtier faster. So just think about how life has changed, and every single product that you think that you want to test, think does it still make sense in this current world? Landing page experience is huge. A lot of people go wrong here. Keep it extremely simple and stupid, okay? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Make the buying experience as simple as humanly possible. They should be able to buy what they want without having to think at all. If you give them too much time, this is why I don't like pop-ups. This is why we deal with products. We try to reduce the amount of variance for products, oftentimes even just going down to one in a lot of situations, and just trying to make the process really, really stupid, really, really simple, because you want to catch them while you have to understand it's like a chemical response in their brain. They clicked on your ad because their dopamine or serotonin, whatever it is, spiked, and they feel like this is going to make them keep that high going if they buy this thing. And if you wait too long, if you delay the process, if you make them think too much and have to go through too much deciding, then those chemicals in the brain wear off and you've lost them. Okay, so you have to make the buying process just super smooth and fast. All right. Now, some products have an X factor, and a lot of people really, really struggle trying to define what an X factor is. And I see that a lot of people will not really learn how to identify it until they've accidentally stumbled on one, and then they're like, oh, now it makes sense. I get why this was a winner. And it's a feature that's extremely hard to explain. It definitely doesn't show up in every profitable product that you'll run, which is why we have all of these other considerations. The X factor is just kind of like a bonus. Let's say you're testing 30 products a week, maybe 2 or 3 of them will have what you think is an X factor. It's got some kind of thing that you think is going to make people laugh or make them feel, like, oh, it's like, a really cute version of something that I've already seen before, or it's, they buy it because maybe it's like a home security product and it makes them like the video makes them feel afraid. So they are more compelled to buy. It just produces a stronger emotional response. There's something about it that produces a stronger emotional response than most other products will. Okay. So keep an eye out for these. Like you want to focus on all the other stuff primarily. And as all of those other things become kind of second nature for you, you'll be able to pick up on the X Factor things a lot more easily. But if all you're doing is looking for these X Factor products, you're probably never going to find anything that you want to test because they're so rare. So focus on the other stuff and then just be kind of like open to noticing when you do stumble on one that's got an X Factor thing. But it doesn't need to be a necessary, it's like a bonus, okay? It's not a necessary requirement for testing. You'll have tons of B and C winners with all of the other criteria. You'll even have A winners that don't have X Factors for just whatever reason. But it usually is those products that just kind of like just go off like crazy, get the $3-4 CPP in the beginning and just, you're going to $1,000 budgets on day one. Usually it's because they have that X Factor. So ad copy, guys, is super, super important. But also at the same time, it's really important that you don't screw it up. You can do a whole lot more harm than you can good with ad copy. All right, so like let's say we have this spectrum here, and you start here. This is like neutral. All right, you can do this much good with your ad copy of convincing them to buy, but you can do this much bad by having a bad copy because if you have grammatical errors, so like for those of you where English is your second or third language, which is the case for half of my students at least, you might need to hire a copywriter in a lot of situations if you can't get your sentences to sound fluid and evoking some type of an emotion. Like if you have a hard time making it sound like a native English speaker, then you probably need to hire somebody, okay? Because if it doesn't sound professional, people are going to be like, I don't respect this company. I don't feel comfortable giving them my money. Like they can't even string 2 sentences together, okay? For inspiration, look at other retailers. Look at the biggest names in the company, in the business. If you're selling a hiking backpack, then look at like other hiking backpack companies. What adjectives are they using to describe their bags? What features are they highlighting? Okay, this could be another advantage for you when you're thinking about what's the key feature that I'm going to highlight. Is it, the amount of pockets that it has, or is it the fact that it's completely weatherproof and it could be submerged for an hour and nothing inside will get wet? Like, what is the feature about the product that that you're going to highlight? And you can get that from your research of other retailers. What is their tone? Are they just very robotic and descriptive? Are they excited? Are they like giggly and like whatever for, girl stuff? Or what types of qualities are they highlighting? Just try to observe that and to mimic it in yours. Obviously, don't copy paste anything. I don't want you guys to think that I'm telling you to plagiarize, but because you need to learn how to come up with these descriptions on your own. And this is not an English writing class. I can't teach you guys how to write, but these are the things you need to focus on. Now, descriptions, 2 to 3 sentences is just way more than enough, guys. You don't need long descriptions. Again, timing is super important. You don't want people staying on your page for too long. You want them to just, when they land on your page, you don't want to scare them off, and you want to do just enough to reaffirm them, to reassure them that they want this. Okay, that's it. You're just doing enough to nudge them, like saying like yes, this is that really nice thing that you're attracted to. Like that's it. Like it's really simple, 2 to 3 sentences, and it's also good to have some bullet points under your 2 to 3 sentences, because some people, they see a paragraph and they skim over it. They just don't want to read it. But if they see bullet points, Like it just depends on their brain type and what they're attracted to. Some people will prefer to read bullet points. So you might have the same things that are in your description. You might have the same things listed out in bullet points, and that's fine. Some products is super important to list, like the materials, what is it made out of, what is your, if it's a set of something, what is included, if it's an electrical product, what's the voltage or plugs or whatever it is. You want to list that stuff out for sure. Again, I've said this a few times, focus on one key feature. You can obviously describe more than one thing in your description. You don't have to only talk about that one, but that one, there should be one thing that like is huge, that like that's what it's all about. That is what you're focusing on. This is why they want it. Just all of your attention is on that. The other things kind of revolve around it, but that's what all your attention is on. And a good exercise for you guys to do is to visualize your customer. Do this all the time. You just visualize your customer standing in the room with you. What kind of clothes do they wear? What do they look like? How do they talk? What kind of music do they listen to? What are their hobbies? What kind of food do they eat? You should be able to imagine this person that vividly. And if you can't, you might not be selling the right kind of product for you. Okay, if you can't visualize your customer, if you don't know who they are, then you might be a little too far outside your comfort zone. Because you're not going to know how to talk to them. You're not going to know what's important to them. You're not going to know if they're actually interested in this. You're probably just testing random shit at that point. So visualize them standing in front of you, and you've got that product in your hand, and you have to sell this to them. What is it that you're going to talk about? What is the most important thing about this product that's going to make them fall in love with it? Why do they need it? So do that exercise. It can be extremely helpful. A lot of times, more frequently, it's very helpful in realizing, like, I don't know who my customer is. I don't know who this person is. And if that's the case, you really have to weigh the pros and cons of actually testing that product. If you don't know who you're talking to, then your chances of success are pretty low. Obviously, people do accidentally stumble on winning products. It happens all the time, but we're all about optimizing every step of the way. That way, we achieve consistency. If you don't do this, if you don't go through these steps and try to make the most out of every single product that you test, you're not going to have consistency in your business. You might eventually stumble on that big winner and have like a 300K month, but then you're going to go the next 6 months without any profit. Okay. And you're probably going to burn up everything that you earned because you're lazy in your process. You're lazy in the way that you're preparing your products, you're picking your products. So if you're very intentional with the products that you pick out and they make sense, you're going through all of these steps, you're going to drastically improve your rate of success, but you're also going to earn more for every product that you do test. Even if it's a loser, you'll earn more back. Okay, because you're setting yourself up for more success. You're making sure that you're covering all the bases. You're not scaring customers away. You're talking to them properly. They feel more comfortable on your website. You've set yourself up for a better margin, so on and so forth. Targeting, a lot of people really worry about targeting. I'd say that most people do fine with their targeting and they just overthink it. That's really the biggest problem with targeting is a lot of people just overthink it. Occasionally I'll come across a client who does really struggle with the targeting, but I'd say it's less rare than the other things that we've discussed today. The best way to describe how to pick targets is to be as broad as you can, but without losing sight of who you think would buy the product. So women's winter boots, as an example here, I would have picked boot, obviously, outerwear, because I feel like if they're buying winter clothing, if they're buying outerwear, jackets, sweaters, whatever, hats and stuff, then they're probably going to be interested in other types of winter products. They're filling out their wardrobe for the season, okay? So they might be interested in winter boots. A coat also falls into that category, and jeans. A lot of people wear jeans with their boots. And so some people would put in there like shoes. I think that's missing a little too far because there's a lot of other types of shoes. Like what if they're high heels, or what if they're jogging shoes, or whatever, sneakers. I think that those people wouldn't be interested in boots. They'd be less interested in boots than people who are buying these other things. You don't want to go so broad that it's like just women's clothing, because that's just like that encompasses so many different things that you're just going to miss really, really hard. And I'd say like, shopping and fashion is another one's like 2 billion people. You don't want to go that broad. Okay. So go broad, but without losing sight of who you think would buy the product. Another thing to add here that's not written down is demographics. I personally think are a waste of money. They're updated less frequently than interest targeting, and the CPMs on them are significantly higher. I've never seen anybody have more success with demographics than I have with normal interests. And yeah, so now we're going to take a look at a few products together. I picked them at random. They're not products that I necessarily think are winners, but they are products that I think are going to bring up the right kind of discussion, the right kind of questions. I want to have a conversation with you guys about these products so that you can understand the mindset. You can understand what it is that I'm doing when I pick my products. And you can then apply that to your research and be that much more successful because you'll start to think a certain way. You're going to connect neurons that you haven't connected before. So we're going to dive in to some products and apply all of this information to those products. And I'll tell you like if it's something I would test or not test, and why, so on and so forth. So yeah, let's dive right in. So we're going to take a look at a few products here. I pulled up some that I think will start the right conversations with you on how to determine whether or not a product is worth testing. Not everything is going to be an A winner, but some things are worth testing, and some things you can really improve your odds of profitability on something that isn't something that's going to go viral, but it could be consistently profitable for several weeks. And it's good to have a lot of those. We'll generally have 20 or 30 or 40 of those running simultaneously, and then we'll have 1, 2, or 3 big hitters pulling the majority of the revenue. But the way you get that consistency month over month over month is having a lot of B and C winners, and then you're just the high volume testing eventually reveals the A winners in that process. But we're pretty much like shooting for B winners. And then like occasionally you hit the A and you get a lot of C's in the process, but we're really trying to shoot for those B winners. It's I think an intelligent goal. So here we are with a women's sleepwear satin set. So if I was consulting a client on this product, this is the kind of thought process I would go through. First picture is, it is a visually appealing image because of the contrast of the colors, and it's something to really pay attention to. So the satin pajama set is black on a white background. Okay, so you immediately know what the product is, right? Instant recognition. We know that we're looking at a pajama set instantly. Okay. Next thing I'm going to look at here is the price. So we're looking at about $12 cost, a little over $12 cost. We could easily sell this for $30 if we wanted to go individually, or we could even up it to $40 a piece, which I think $40 for a pajama set is a totally reasonable price point if you can get your ad copy, if you can get your description written out properly, and you can really hype up the comfort and the softness of the satin. Like that's really the big selling point here is how comfortable they're going to feel in this. Like they're never going to want to take it off. They're going to want to wear it every night. And so $12, I would personally go $40 a piece on this, and then I would do buy 2 get 1 free. Now, you say, John, how do you do that if there's 4 variants? You just delete one. Okay, so we'd remove one of them, most likely this red one here. Let's see. Yeah, I'd leave the purple. Leave the blue, leave the black, get rid of the red. It just kind of seems out of place to me based on the other variant photos that are available. And we have this image here that's already, it's ready for us. Like that's our bundle variant image right there. Boom, all 3 colors, buy 2 get 1 free. So we would do $40 a piece, or you get $80, you get all 3. So that's a $36 cost. That's a $40 margin. If you're charging $5 for shipping like I do, you're doing about a really, really sweet margin on this product if they get the bundle, and a really sweet margin if they get the individual variant. So that's like a perfect scenario margin wise, and I think the perceived value matches that price point. Okay, let's see what else here. Just look at the rest of these photos, see what we're working with. Yeah, I think this hits enough criteria to justify testing. I think it's seasonally appropriate. I think this is something that somebody would wear in the wintertime to go to bed. Honestly, they could wear it year round, but it looks silky and soft and warm, and I think that it makes sense for winter. It's got sleeves, right? So it's not a sleeveless set like this one over here. And targeting wise, we would look for pajama type interests, maybe even bedding, anything related to bed or sleep or pajamas would all be very appropriate for this. And yeah, I would definitely test this product. All right, nothing there. Let's see what else I got pulled up here. Okay, plates. We'll go to the kitchen. Okay. We've seen some pretty decent success with kitchen products this year, actually quite a lot. And a lot of people just don't know how to do it right. All right, so let me pull up a good example and a bad example. And we'll start with the bad one. So this is a beautiful plateware set, right? Like super attractive image. You know what you're being sold. It's a high quality image, definitely going to get traffic, but the buying experience is going to be terrible. All right, the landing page experience is going to be very, very bad. So they're landing on this page and they're gonna have all these variants. And you say, well, I could reduce the amount of variants. Well, you don't have the photos to do that, right? If you're showing these items in the pictures and then they're not on the page, it's gonna seem unprofessional. And so you've lost trust. So this product is just simply something you can't run unless maybe you got some custom photos done of like just individual pieces or something like that. Because you can't run with these photos. I know I said like some white background photos are fine, but I wouldn't run with this. This doesn't look that appealing. It's a little boring. So yeah, this would be a bad example. This is a bad product as far as a plateware set. This one's decent. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's good enough to test. We have this fantastic photo here. This black background with the deep blue plates. Your eyes are just drawn to it. The hands look like they're showing it to you. So kind of like you really are drawn to look at the plates. Okay, it's really, really attention grabbing. It's fantastic. It's a good photo. And we only have 2 variants to work with. Now, I honestly, with plates, I like to work with just 1, but 2 is second best. Like I said, keep it really simple and stupid. And we've had a lot of success with individual plate, products in the past. But 2 is fine as well. And you say, well, John, how are you going to get a margin on this product? It's so expensive. Well, plates are expensive. Okay, people. This is where research is going to come into play. People will pay a lot of money for plates. These are $32 a piece. You could sell them for I'd go 60. I go $59.99. We're about we'll just do a 2x markup on this plate on both of these, and so 21. So. Yeah, like 45 for the small one, 60 for the big one, something like that, maybe 62. And then no bundles here, okay? So a bundle would be very detrimental because in order for the bundle to have any value, you'd have to price these even higher. And on top of that, the bundle would still be massively expensive. You'd be looking at like a $400 or $500 order, and people are going to see that price tag and go, nope, and they're going to run away. But if they love this plate and they're like, oh, it's only $60. Well, I could get 2. I think I can afford 2. Well, let's get 3. Let's get 4. I think I can afford that. And they're kind of incrementally warming themselves up to that higher price range as they go through the buying process, and they're much more likely to check out. We've seen that. We've seen people do the $400, $500, $600, $700 orders by selecting individual plates. It does work quite well. We have the photo that we need. We've got 2 variants. And the price is okay. It's not in a fantastic position, but people will pay $60 for a plate if they love it. And yeah, I think this is something we've tested. Targeting wise, we're looking at kitchenware, cookware, let's see, kitchen utensils, cooking, baking, even anything like kitchen related. When someone's like really into their kitchen stuff, they're also into plates. Okay, so I don't know if plate is an interest or not. I'd have to check, but I don't think I use it. I use kitchenware, kitchen utensil, cookware, and like baking or something like that. And yeah, so this is a good product. I would test this, and hopefully you understand the difference between the two. Once we get to analyzing landing page experience, this is no longer something that we could do. Also, another thing to consider is how other countries around the world perceive size. All right, so Americans are the only ones that are doing inches, right? Everybody else is doing centimeters. And so leaving your variants as 10 inch and 8 inch doesn't make sense. What I would do is change the variant names to large and medium. And then in the description, have both your inches and centimeter measurements in the description. Large, equals 10 inches or this many centimeters. Medium equals 8 inches or this many centimeters. And that does very, very well, okay? Because everybody knows what large and medium is. They can kind of in their mind assume like, okay, I know what a large plate looks like. I know what a medium plate looks like. And then if they have questions about it, they can see the answer to that question in your description. All right, let's keep moving. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's another plateware set. Actually, really like this one. This one's really pretty. And let's see, 10.5 inches. And this is actually a slightly better price range. Really great photos. Same situation, same targeting, same setup. I would do everything the exact same as I explained for the last product. These are gorgeous plates. All right. Here's an eye-catching photo, bright red, black background, looks high quality and modern, whatever the hell it is, but it's not instantly recognizable. They would have to read your description to know this is an umbrella. And that's a detriment to the product, okay? So there's some other photos here like these. You could potentially run with that. I don't know if that's interesting enough. I feel like I've seen better umbrella photos. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to running it, but you're looking at like making this well, you could probably go $40. I think people might buy more than one umbrella. Yeah, go $40 on this. 4 variant colors is fine. And you could use this. You could use this photo, not that one, obviously. But these photos, they look nice with the gold and the red and the black background. But you don't know what it is, right? You know what it is, but you have to look at everything through the buyer's perspective. Let's see what else they got here. All right. We've got some holiday lights here. This is a Halloween product that's pretty popular every year, and I think they've got some Christmas ones as well. Yeah. I wanted to talk about this one so that we could discuss the naming of variants and how you would pick them out. Okay, so it's really important that when you need to, again, look at the experience through the buyer's perspective. And when they click your drop-down box and read your variants, they're not going to want to click on every single one in order to see what they look like, right? So this one, the example that I wanted to show you was that they had like 3 different skulls here. You wouldn't want to leave them all. You'd want to just leave one. You don't want to have skull 1, skull 2, skull 3, because now it's like this tedious process for them to figure out which skull they like. But they're not going to know that they're missing other versions of the skulls if you've only got one in there. Okay, so you want to simplify the buying process, and then again offer some type of bundling for these types of products. So we would do, you could do eyes, pumpkins, ghosts, and skulls, right? And then you could do a bundle deal, sell them for $20 a piece, and buy 2, get 2 free. And when I say do these bundles, guys, we're not using apps, okay? We're using manual variants. It's the only way to do it without glitches, without slowing the process down. They just select buy 2, get, like your variant name is buy 2, get 2 free, all 4 styles or whatever, and then you create a custom image. You can, collage it or whatever. And a lot of times we'll specifically look for products just to make things quicker for us. We'll look for products that already have those images made. And we'll probably have some more of those, like we did with the silk or the satin pajama set. It already had an image made. That makes the process just faster. Everything's about speed, guys. So the less work you got to do, the better. But the same for the customer's perspective. The less work you make them do, the better. So you want to simplify this. And I think this is a great way to run this product. It's probably something that a lot of people test, but not a lot of people think to do the whole bundle thing. So you're going to get a better conversion rate, a better AOV. Facebook's going to give you better traffic. You're going to beat out the competition. Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about plates here. These are sushi plates, and they're gorgeous. But you have to think about appealing here, okay? Is the product actually something that the customer can see themselves using? They look fantastic, high quality images. They're gorgeous. People are going to stop and look at this. But how many people make sushi at home?
It's extremely limited. And like if someone's in a sushi interest on Facebook, it's because they ordered sushi on Uber Eats or on, DoorDash, right? It's because they eat sushi, not necessarily because they prepare it. So Sushi Plates, just not a practical product for most people. I wouldn't bother with cold traffic on something like this. Here's another example of a plateware set that's just absolutely stunning, but would not work because we don't have the creatives to make it work. There's just every single image is a set, and they're beautiful. We couldn't just run a bowl. That doesn't work. These are great, beautiful images, but you can't just run bowls. You can run simply just plates, but bowls, much lower success rate. One thing that we will do is like you can always follow up with additional pieces. Like let's say we did have a really good photo in here of just one of these plates, okay, and it crushed and it did really well, and you got some orders coming in. You could, if you had another image of another product like a bowl or something else in the set, you could retarget all of your purchasers with you create a custom audience of everybody that purchased that product and retarget them with the bowl. And that'll have an extremely high ROAS. It's not going to like scale crazy, but it's a good way to increase your lifetime customer value. I talked about this briefly earlier. I just want to touch on it again, that this is a great time to run iPhone 12 products. This is a beautiful photo right here of these cases for the iPhone 12. But that's the only time we run phone accessories is when there's a new release. If you do it any other time, your chances of success are significantly lower. It doesn't mean it won't work 100% of the time, but we're always trying to do what has the best chance of success, because when you're testing thousands of products over the course of a year, and you're constantly striving to be as optimized as possible through that testing process, it does make a massive difference in your bottom line at the end of the year. Let's see what this was. All right, touch on canvases here. Just a little personal experience, a little knowledge, not necessarily personal experience, but knowledge from people I've talked to, that canvases are great. They honestly can sell like crazy. Okay, canvases can be really, really powerful, but especially over this past year, there have been a tremendous amount of copyright violations filed by the artists of these pieces, and I would classify them as a high-risk product. You're at a very high risk of losing your Facebook account by running canvases of different pieces of art like this because you don't own it. You simply don't own rights to that image, to that art, and the artist does, and they have a right to shut you down. So it's just something to keep in mind. I know people that still run them. I know a lot of people that, they do it and they have a lot of success. I know people have made money off of them, but to me, it's not worth it. I just don't touch Canvas because my Facebook account's worth more than whatever I would make off of this. That's the way I look at it. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not trying to jeopardize things that, I'm not trying to jeopardize the whole business for one product. Like, this is stupid. All right. Here's a fantastic example of a product that you can bundle together for home decor. We have 3 different little foxes here. I think it's stupid that they put the phone in the photo. I know they did it for scale, but it just takes attention away from the fox. I might even consider just removing those individual photos, because you could just have them named large, medium, and small, and they can like look at this picture and see like what's large, medium, and small. You wouldn't necessarily need to have these. And then you would create a 4th variant that is a bundle. So you'd probably do a 3x markup on these individual pieces. Maybe like 80 on this one and 60 on the medium, and let's say like 40 on this guy here, but then you just do a 2x markup on all 3 when they're together. So it's 60, 50, 65. So you could do like $120 or something, $130 for all 3. And you say, oh, that's really expensive. I've seen a lot of $100, $200, $300 price range home decor products do well this year. So it's something I'd be willing to test. I feel like a fox, like some animals are just not very popular and others are. And it's just kind of a awareness thing of society and like what you see people wearing on their shirts or in their houses or what people talk about. Foxes are somewhat popular. it's something that I would be willing to test. And I would do it in that fashion. Now, I get this question a lot too, is which variant would you list first? Would you put the bundle as the first option, or where would you put it? That depends on how necessary it is for people to select the bundle in order for you to be profitable. So if you're doing a bundle in order to make your margin, like the only way you can make a margin is if they buy the bundle, which happens probably half the time, then you need to make it the first variant. Okay. Now, if in this scenario, if somebody bought this little fox and you were selling her for $40, you're good. That's still a $30 margin. Okay. So you don't need to sell the bundle. It's just an extra option in case people want it. So it would be the last option on the list. And like for that, you would just do the math on what the savings is between the two. Like, so I don't do compare pricing in my store, where a lot of people do like fake sales on all their stuff. I don't do that anymore. It's been like a year since I did that, and it's actually helped quite a bit, because what it does is, especially if you're using bundles a lot, it makes your bundles seem that much more powerful when these are full price. The individual variants are full price, just $40. It's no sale, whatever. And then when they select that bundle variant and they see the compare pricing show up and it says save $120, they actually believe it, because you don't have everything on sale. It's just that one variant. They actually buy it, right? So they actually believe it. And it just adds emphasis to those deals and drives that many more people to the bundles that you sell, and your AOV is just through the roof. This is a cool product. I tested this earlier in the year. I want to say it was like in the springtime. And I just wanted to discuss like naming of like creative naming of your variants. And, we named this one like the wings of Hermes or something like that. And this was like a phoenix, right? Just trying to like add some type of extra oomph to the product so people feel more emotionally attached to it, rather than just calling them like wings. Like we just like the wings of Hermes, right? It's just like sounds a little bit cooler. And I don't know if that's really something that's like a personal knowledge thing, where you draw correlations between what you see here and what you know about of other things that you've seen in your life. And I don't know if it's really something I can impart on you, other than saying like, if you're capable of doing that, definitely do it, but don't force it. Because if it seems forced and in like what you call it ends up not making sense, then like, or if like, again, if English is like your third language and you just like call this like bird wings or something. Like, I mean, I see it all the time. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but like if you try too hard and you don't know what you're doing and you don't have that creative spark, you hurt yourself again. Okay. You hurt yourself, like having a bad ad copy, you hurt yourself. And you just want to seem really clean and professional. It's much better to just be really simple and not be too creative. If you can't be creative well, it's better to just be simple. That's the point I was trying to make. This is a beautiful photo, but this is a kind of product where I'm like, I can't really picture who would buy this. It seems like really kind of random. It's like 2 leaves and 2 feathers and a deer. Like, I don't know what kind of person buys this. Maybe you do. This was just an example of a product where I couldn't really visualize my customer, and I felt like it would be kind of like lazy or a little careless to test a product like this in my situation. So just personal. This is a product that's really pretty, but I don't know what it is. Okay. So I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, that's pretty. I could see it on someone's shelf, but I wouldn't know how to even really describe it. Just like it's creative modern art, add a little bit of elegance to your credenza. I don't even know what a credenza is. I'm just bullshitting. But my point here with this one is I don't really know how to name it. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know what kind of customer buys this. I could just, I could throw it up there and just see what happens. And sometimes we'll do that, but I just want you guys to be responsible with what you're testing. And I'm trying to be honest with you. Like if I look at something like this, I'm like, I don't really know, like, who's going to latch onto this? I don't think it's going to, I think people are going to look at it and say it's pretty and it's nice. But I don't think anybody is going to look at this thing and just be like in love with it and like feel like, oh, that defines me. You know, I don't think it's going to get that response. Now I'm looking at it. Maybe it's like some like dancer and like those are like their arms crossed and this is the head or something. I don't know. Anyways, just wanted to use that as an example here. I thought this was just kind of cool looking. You know, you could target home decor and like Kung Fu or something. Maybe even like Dragon Ball Z, since that was based off of the Monkey King. I just thought this was kind of a cool product and honestly in a really good price range. I would just offer one variant. They don't need to know that there's like 4, right? So you just grab like the best looking one, which is the one in this photo. You got this cool background. You just offer the one variant, $40. That's it. Boom. Make your $30 margin off of one purchase. One variant, simple and stupid. You're going to know right away whether or not people like this or not. And yeah, easy money. All right, let's see what we're getting into next. So I provided this as an example for seasonality. Obviously, we already talked about it, but just really want to emphasize this. Even like when I work with clients one-on-one and we review products on every call, this is what we do. We go through every single thing they look at. We do this process. We have a conversation about everything. And my whole goal is to make you think about it, but still, like, even no matter how many times I say, like, dude, it's winter, it's like people will still bring summer products and they just still like, well, I think it's nice. And it's like, well, but the audience is so small for swimming suits right now. Like, people are not getting ready to go to the beach. Yes, some people are going swimming in the pool or whatever, but it's so much less, so much fewer amount of people than in the summertime. Okay, so you want to always optimize. Okay, and I think this is a great product. It's something that I would save, and it's a type of product that I think people would love a bundle of. Okay, having like, if they like this style swimming suit, if this is their style, then they might want 2 or 3 or 4 different colors. Okay, so you just narrow this down. It doesn't even matter really with like which ones you pick. Like, obviously, this is probably the better photo here, and you could get like this one and like a purple one, maybe like 3. I would probably just do 3. Okay, and then do like what's the cost on these? $12.67, maybe like $40 a piece, buy 2, get 1 free. And they're thinking, wow, I'm getting a $40 bathing suit for free. That's what's going on in their mind. They're not thinking about the $80 that they have to spend. They're thinking like, holy crap, I'm getting $40 for free. That's like the way consumers think. So I would narrow this down to 3. Like, you can mold these products to create a narrative, to create a special offer, to create incentive, to create motivation to purchase. Okay, and that's what this is about. Is just, you know, you don't have to run with what they're showing you. You can modify it. Okay, you can create something out of this that other people, that other sellers aren't thinking about. All right, and almost nobody does this. Let's see. Not really sure why I picked this one out. Maybe I just was clicking on it because I thought it was a good photo. You got the black pants on the white background. Really good color contrast. You got enough sizes. It's one simple variant, so you've got to go big on the individual purchase. I think going $39.99 is fine. That's a $30 margin. And yeah, I would definitely run this. Targeting wise, I would do trousers. Let's see. High heels. I feel like, you know, if you wear leather pants, you might have like high heels on or something. I'm just thinking like, what else would she be wearing, right? Leather could be a good targeting. And she's wearing a sweater. You know, sometimes I'll just go with that. Like, if she's wearing a sweater, then, you know, somebody might, if they've been shopping for sweaters, they've been looking at sweaters for 3 days and they just bought a couple sweaters, then a photo comes up and there's a sweater in it. Their eyes might be trained to that. Okay. A lot of times I'll do that with shoes too. Like, pay attention to what type of pants they're wearing. If they're wearing jeans with their high heels, then throw jeans as a targeting option, because they're trained to look at jeans, because that's what they've been looking at. They're interested in jeans. So they're going to stop and look at your photo and notice the shoes. Or they're going to stop and notice this sweater and look at the pants and be like, oh, wow, leather pants would look really good with that sweater I just bought, right? Sneakers, is another thing where people like having multiple colors. Okay, there's a really good take rate on multiple variant purchases. And honestly, I would just drop this white one. White shoes aren't very popular because people know they get dirty. I would just do the 3, and I would do what's the price on this? $25. I would mark them up to 60, and then do let's see, a bundle. I don't know if you could do 120, buy 2 get 1 free. Might be too slim. You could, if you wanted to like cut it kind of close, you could do a buy 2 get 1 free on this. But you could just do like a deal, like save 50% on the 3rd pair. Okay, if you get all 3 colors. Yeah. So that'd come out to $150, which would be a 2x markup. So the 3rd one would be like the 4th variant. These would be $60 a piece, $59.99, and then the 4th variant would say all 3 colors, and you'd have a collage photo for them to look at, so they know they have a visual confirmation of what they're getting. All 3 colors, save $30. Something like that. And then have the compare pricing and all that would work very well. This one just popped out, really just the eye-catching factor here. The red on this background looks very 3D, very attractive photo. I thought it was great. You just remove the extra variants here, so I think there's only 3 that really match this, that are the same style. They're pretty expensive. Okay, so there's another good example of we can discuss pricing here. I don't think you can get a margin on this. $37 cost. You're not selling these for $80. You just drop shipping sneakers. The limit is like about $60. Honestly, 60 is like on the super high end. I would say the primo range is 40 to 50, and every increment that you get up above 50, the conversion rate starts dropping quite a bit. All right. I just thought these were super cool pants, and something that would have really high chance of people wanting a couple of different colors. So you could do the green ones, the black ones, and the gray ones. I would just do 3 colors here. Green, black, and gray. Maybe you could do 4. These look good too. I don't think the white ones would be as popular. But you could do 4. They're only $20. Mark them up to $50 a piece. Actually, I would do khaki, black, and green. Okay, khaki, black, and green. Even though the gray ones look fine, I think the khaki, the black, and the green are going to be the most popular. So we'll do 3 variants, mark them up to $50 or 60 actually. Let's do 60. $59.99. I think like a cool pair of pants like this is worth $60 to me. Like I was just gut feeling. I feel like these people will pay 60 for this, but we don't want them to. We want them to get the buy 2 get 1 free deal. Okay, we'll do a 4th variant, buy 2 get 1 free. It's $120 at a $60 cost. You're fucking crushing it, man. $65 margin is stupid. So you can run, a $30, $40, $50 CPP on this product and be fine. And you wouldn't. You'd probably be doing probably doing 25 to 30 on this, I think, CPP, based on pricing and everything, which would be still a great place to be in. Blankets, this is another. I just want to talk about like product categories a little bit. Blankets are a great, seasonal product, but also something that is very easily bundled up together. Here's a great photo. This one's got 3 colors. So you could just bundle that up. I would probably only target women because there's a pink one in it. I would just do these 3 colors: the white, the gold, and the pink, and offer that bundle. Or you could even go with these 3, but I think this photo looks a little more attractive. But the price is too high. Never mind. See, it's important you check everything here. So you're not charging $80 for these blankets. I just don't see that working. Little astronaut set. So price on these is pretty low. You could do. Let me look at this photo here. You get an opportunity to reduce some of these variants and maybe throw like a 6-piece bundle together at a discount. I probably wouldn't test this. I remember what I wanted to talk about with this. So looking at this thing, it's clearly like a ornamental set decoration for probably like a kid's room or something is what it looks like to me. But so many times I feel like people don't think several layers deep about their targeting, and like something like this, they'll target like NASA and outer space and space or stars or astronauts or whatever. And it's like, look, if you just think about those things, who do you think the average person is in those audiences? The average person in those audiences is probably like some 60-year-old dude that just likes NASA, okay, or likes studying the stars or something. It's not going to be somebody who would buy a decoration for a child, okay. You're just missing completely. Something like this, I would target. I can see this in like a 10-year-old boy's room, right? Like that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And so you think about, okay, since there's obviously no targeting options for that specifically, what else would a 10-year-old boy be interested in that a parent would be buying for them? Like maybe Legos or, comic books or Hot Wheels or, I don't know, just think about that stuff. Like what else? Because obviously a parent's buying this. So what else would that parent be buying for the same child? You need to make that connection, okay? Obviously, these aren't Legos, but I feel like a child of that age that would be playing with Legos would probably be interested in having these little mini cool astronauts on their shelf. It's just the connection's there, okay? So you got to think about that whole process. Cups. Wanted to bring this up to talk about breakage. These are really nice looking mugs. Oh, the shipping's $10. Get out of here. That's stupid. Well, let's pretend it didn't have $10 shipping and they were just $7.50 a piece. I would probably test this, but I would test it knowing that there's risk involved. Okay, so there's certain things where you're just going to have to evaluate your tolerance for risk, and some of these mugs are going to show up broken. You're going to have to either reship or provide a refund, and that's just reality. But I'd say in most cases, most products that you test don't end up scaling anyways, right? So the majority of them, like maybe 1 out of 10, depending on your skill level, or 3 out of 10 if you're really good. So the chances are is that it won't scale. You might sell 1 or 2 and it doesn't really matter what happens to them. But if it scales, then you should be making a decent enough margin to cover the amount of breakage and refunds that come in. And that is just a process that you're going to have to calculate as you go. So as the customers start receiving them, you're going to have to determine, like, are the refunds coming in at such a rate that I should turn the product off if it hasn't already died? Or is it not so many breakages that it's not really impacting my margins that much to worry about? But all of that is governed by your tolerance for risk and whether or not you feel like having those conversations with the customers. Anyways, if you're doing customer service by yourself, you may not want to have those conversations. If you have it outsourced, maybe you don't care as much. So something to consider with fragile things. Same goes for plates, guys, is they could break. Titan 3PL has gotten pretty good at shipping plates lately. And so we haven't had a lot of breakage issues with certain types of plates. Some plates are more fragile than others. And, so everything's different depending on the quality of the manufacturer and all that stuff. So there is no like general rule of thumb. This is a product I see a lot. A lot of people bring this and say, "Hey, John, would you test this?" It just isn't a practical product. Like, who cares what temperature their drink is? Like, if it could control the temperature and was in this sleek design and was for this price, then I would say, okay, maybe that makes sense. But if all it does is just have a digital display, I don't think it really matters that much. It's pretty simple. I don't think it's worth $30, which is what you'd have to sell it for. And even then, you're only pulling a $25 margin. It's just, to me, is such a waste of time. I wanted to talk about products that have changed this past year. We've already done it a little bit, and reality is backpacks just aren't working as well as they used to. This is one that I would love to test. It's a great price point. It's a good-looking bag. But backpacks, I don't think I've seen any bags work this year. Maybe like hunting or hiking backpacks, because people are still doing that stuff. But as far as like school and travel and, you think about what is it used for? kind of like certain shoes are selling now, like running shoes, because the gyms are closed, so people are running, but they're not necessarily going to work or to school, so they don't need like the fashion or the dressy shoes. You just kind of think about all that stuff about how the world's changed a little bit and how it's impacted products. So it's a nice looking shirt. You could sell it for $30 a piece. Do a buy two, get one free deal would be a really great deal. Just narrow it down to 3 colors, white, red, and gray, and it would do quite well. Now, there is a degree of risk in using photos that have models in them, because you don't own those images, and they could file a copyright complaint and get your ad taken down. Facebook doesn't have any set policy on copyright violations. Some people will lose their whole Facebook profile in one complaint, and some people will lose it after 5. I'd say the most common thing I hear is a 3-strike policy, but honestly, there's no set rules, so it's just best to avoid problems as much as possible, but at the same time, it just assess your tolerance for risk. This is a cool hoodie here. Again, hoodies are a product that I think people buy multiples of all the time. It's a $10 product. I mean, you can mark it up to $40 and do a buy 2, get 2 for free deal. $80, like, is a stupid margin. You get $45 margin if they got the bundle, or if they only got one, you'd still probably make just as much profit. So it's a really fantastic opportunity with this product, I think. With how cheap it is, it's a fantastic margin. So buy 2, get 2 free. I want to skip through and find some that I was thinking about. I mean, the same thing applies to these, to joggers. Joggers are pants. Like if they're going to the gym 5 days a week, or they're running 5 days a week, then they need 5 pairs of pants, right? But they may not want to buy 5 pairs of jeans, but because you can wear the same jeans 3 days in a row. A lot of people do that, or they don't wear jeans every day of the week. But if they're running every single day, then they're getting sweaty. They're probably not going to wear the same pants every day. So you have opportunities. You just want to think about practical purpose of each thing that you sell, and whether or not if you can convince them that there's a reason why they would want to indulge and buy multiples of the thing that you're selling. Let's see if we can get to some other product categories here. Let's see. Desk lamp, great time to sell office stuff because people are setting up their home offices right now. I think this is a really nice lamp, really great photo. Sell it for $60, easy $40 margin. Test that heartbeat. Home decor, again, lamps are doing, great. Wall fixtures, ceiling fixtures, anything for the home is just really crushing this year. If you can get something that looks nice. And things for like lamps and stuff, you can get people to buy multiples pretty easily. Now, this is something I would simplify, guys. I would not have 4 different bulb styles. I just wouldn't. I would do warm white, and that's it. I'd just leave it with 1. And obviously, you just remove the other variants and then remove this as a variant, and in the description say warm white bulb color or something like that, warm white light, and just not have that variant selection available at all. And same with the colors. I think I like the white one better. Well, let's see, what do the good photos show? It shows the brown one in the nicer photos. So we just go with the brown lamp. And so now we've removed 2 selections from the process, making it very simple, but they just have to select the plug. That's something they're going to have to pick. And you could sell it for $60 a piece, and I can see people buying 2, 3, 4 of these. Jewelry can be a really good niche with bundles as well. If people like this style earring here, this like freshwater pearl or whatever that is, you could throw a few different styles in there. So it's a great image, great photo, even though it's Photoshopped. That's not actually on there. But you could do, like this style and like this one. Just do like 3 and mark them at $30 a piece, and then buy two, get one free. Again, $60 for 3 pairs of earrings. And they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a $30 pair of earrings for free. Kind of like jewelry, pretty much, $30 is a pretty good price point for most jewelry, like the cheaper stuff. $30 for like cheap jewelry, honestly, is not crazy. Even at like a retail store, it's not crazy. Click through here. Socks are a really cool niche because people need lots of socks, right? So great opportunity for bundles. You can do kids socks, you can do grown-up socks, you can do athletic socks, you can do like medical socks, you can do all kinds of different things. And we like to do kind of excessive discounts on socks. So, we'll price them at like $20 a piece, probably not kids socks, but like a nice pair of adult socks, we'd price them at like $20 a piece and say like, if you buy 2, you get 5 for free, $40, and you're giving them 7 pairs of socks that cost you $2 each. And, that's the way we like to position it, because people like companies actually sell socks for $20. Like, that's a real thing. And so you just, you're convincing them that these are $20 socks, that these are worth $20 a piece. And if they buy 2, they're going to get 5 for free. Just make sure the numbers match up, that the money makes sense, and it works extremely well. The socks usually have less sizing complaints because they're socks, so like anybody can just slide them on, right? In most cases. This, we've got some bundle photos here. So like this, we've got 5 colors. This is obviously for girls. We do 5 colors. So a 5-pack bundle, buy 3, get 2 for free deal, something like that. Maybe mark them up to $10 a piece. And for $30, they can get all 5. Remove the other variants. Targeting on something like this, like what are little girls interested in that parents might be buying or be researching for their child, about like Disney princesses. You could go like kids movies that girls would like, or actually these are like for baby socks. Sorry, these are babies. So we would do baby shower, diapers, baby formula. You don't want to do those. You don't want to do demographics again, guys. You don't want to do, parents with like children of a certain age, or new parents, or you don't want to do those interests. I promise you, they're expensive. They don't work. You want to think like, what else are parents buying that have children of this age? They're buying diapers, they're buying baby formula, or they're people that are going to baby showers, that kind of stuff. Okay. Those are the things that work. See if there's anything else here that I think would bring up a good conversation. Again, this is the kind of product that just looks really, really nice, okay? But it's not a practical product. It's not something that you'd see in the average person's home. It's not something the average person would use. And so it's just not going to convert very well, okay? It's a nice looking photo. So you've got the appealing thing. You've even got perceived value, but and maybe even margin. But is it practical? Okay, guys, are somebody actually going to use this in their daily lives? Are they really committed enough to this that they're going to check out? And I'd say no. This is a cool looking lamp. Pretty expensive. We're looking at $60. So you have to charge $120 for it. How big is it? It's just a table lamp, so probably not worth it. Another bundle opportunity here. Guys that wear sweaters, they'll get 3 colors. Charge $50 a piece, or even $60, and buy 2, get 1 free. And people would just say, that's a $60 sweater, and they're giving me one for free. Holy crap. I'm telling you, man, this stuff works. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Review the things that I discussed. Ask yourself these questions, right? You got to ask yourself these questions. Is the product instantly recognizable? Is it going to get their attention? And do they know exactly what they're being sold the second that they look at it? The same goes for videos. You got to show them the product instantaneously. All right. So show the product, show what the product does, show the product again, call to action, send them to your website. But the first thing you do is you show them the product. You need to get their, you only have their attention for a split second. You've got to show them what you're selling them. Okay. We're not trying to like rope them in through random things. We're just straight up honest. Like, this is what I'm selling. And if they're interested in it, they're going to buy it. Okay. But it's super important that they know what it is immediately. And I'd say that this is a big problem for home decor stuff. Or, here's one that I'm thinking of. Let me see. Like bedding. Occasionally they'll have, like here, where it's like you're looking at this bed and you're just like, that's a mess. Like, you don't know what you're being sold. Like it's just, are you selling me this messy bed? Like, I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, sure, some people are going to stop and they're going to read your description or your ad copy and they're going to understand what it is, but 30% of your audience is not. You need to know exactly, they need to know exactly what you're selling immediately. There has to be a high perceived value. They need to feel like this is going to add value to their life, that this is worth money, that this is worth what you're charging, that they can relate to it, that it's not so weird that, like, even if they like it, sometimes it's just a little too weird that they would never actually like wear it in public, or they'd feel kind of awkward hanging it in their home because it's just a little too weird. Like, there's like some crazy looking clocks out there and stuff like that, where it's just kind of a little weird. You might see it in some stoner's bedroom, but the average person's home is not going to put up something that outlandish on the wall. So just always think about like the average people, you know, and let's see what else. Margins, make sure you're getting a really fat margin, guys. $30 plus is going to drastically improve your chances of maintaining profitability, or at least breaking even on losers. And you don't have to get it in one variant. You can get it in multiples, but you need to be able to assess whether or not people are going to buy multiples. That's extremely important. You need to be able to predict that. And you just need to think about it. Like, is there a practical use for people to buy more than one? Do they have it? Like, do they need more than one pair of socks? Yes. Okay. Do people need, or will people use multiple pairs of sweatpants for working out? Yes. Are people more likely to buy a full set of, you know, sculptures for their desk? Like, yes, they're going to, like, some people are going to only want one, but a good portion of people are going to buy two or three. You just have to assess the likelihood of that happening and factor that into your margins. Okay. Otherwise you're going to miss out on products that could have worked. And, seasonality, make sure you're running products that are appropriate for the season or appropriate for the holidays. Think about how the new COVID reality is impacting the things that we're selling. All right. People aren't traveling as much. They're working from home. They're not going to school. They're cooking from home more. Since their kids are home, they need things for their kids to do. So they need to have things to play with to distract them. They need educational toys. They feel like teachers aren't doing enough, so they got to give their kids more stuff to do. But just try to think about how the world has changed and like how that impacts what we sell. And people like can't go to the barber in some places, right? So we had a lot of people crush with clippers and things like that because they're cutting their own hair now, right? The world has just changed, and you can take advantage of it. There's things that people need now that they didn't need before because the world has changed. Think about the landing page experience. How can you make it simple? How can you make it so simple that it can't screw it up? All right. It's okay to have 3, 4, 5 variants when you think it adds value to the product, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes away value. Just think about the buyer's experience and whether or not they really need to know about these other options. The only time I really like having multiple options is if I think people will buy multiple options. And if not, then you're probably better off just sticking with one thing. So just one and done. They just click on it like, I like this, add to cart, check out, right? Like, don't make them think like, oh, do I want this one or that one? Or maybe I got to get the whole set and they're named funny. Why is this one named A, B, C, D? Like, I got to scroll through this whole list and it, just make it simple for people, guys. Yeah. So, that's it. And Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I'm losing my voice talking a little too much. Give me a second. But excited to hear what you guys think of this. I know that it will add value if you apply it to your research and to your testing. The more conscious you are, the more rational and logical you are with the products that you pick, and like knowing who your audience is, guys, just visualizing them. What kind of clothes do they wear? Even if you're selling them a tool, what kind of clothes do they wear? Right? What kind of music do they listen to? What kind of food do they eat? They just try to picture that person in your mind, the ideal person, the stereotypical person, if you will. You should know who that is. And you're going to get a lot better at it as you practice it. You're going to struggle. I couldn't do this 3 years ago, right? But it's just like it's a muscle, and you just keep drilling, you keep practicing. Your brain starts connecting different neurons. It starts figuring this process out, and you just get a little bit better every single day. So keep researching, and you will continue to get better. It really is like time in the gym. Like the only way to get stronger, the only way to get better shape is to spend time in the gym, guys. So also, I'm gonna give you a little bonus tip here on one very, very common complaint that I hear from people about finding products. They say, John, AliExpress is showing me the same crap every day. I can't stop seeing the same things, but AliExpress has got billions of items on it. I mean, there's just a ridiculous amount of products on here. So if you're seeing the same stuff, there's a reason for that, okay? And let me explain it to you. AliExpress is not a product research platform. That is how we use it, but that is not how it was built. AliExpress is a shopping platform. And what do shopping platforms do? What do websites like this do? They retarget you. They're trying to get you to buy things that they think you're interested in. They're trying to figure you out. All right. So if they're trying to figure you out, then you have to keep it guessing. Okay. If you're always going in the same categories, then it's going to keep showing you the same crap. But beyond that, there's a really fantastic quote that I love. And it is organized research never produces anything new. Okay. You have to allow for wild and unorganized research. You have to be willing to get outside of your comfort zone, to think outside the box, and to be random. You have to allow that to happen in order to shake things up and create something new. So I always just start on the homepage. I don't go category by category. I mean, I can, but and honestly, I believe products exist everywhere. The winning products exist everywhere. You don't have to. I don't even think about product categories. I'm just scrolling randomly all the time, and knowing that I'm going to stumble on a winner. I just know I am. No matter where I click, where I go, I know I'm going to find them. So because they exist everywhere. So I start on the homepage. I just click. Let me open up a fresh window. I just click on the things that I think are interesting on the homepage. So we got umbrella. Baby stuff, plate, toy bag, let's see, cool Roman sculpture thing, cool umbrella. I'm not paying attention to pricing. All I'm doing is looking at the images. All right, I'm not seeing anything new, so I'm going to go to what I clicked on. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of those pages. So I'm going to show you kind of a loophole. All right, so this section called More to Love is not retargeting. It can occasionally look like it is, but it's not. This section here are products that AliExpress thinks are different, that AliExpress thinks are related to what you're already looking at. So it's not based on what you've looked at before. It's based on what's related to this current product, what it thinks is related to it. So it's one step removed from the retargeting process, okay? And then I scroll down here and I look at what's on this page. And then here's that desk lamp that I was looking at earlier, right? So let's look at what's related to that. This is what I call going down the rabbit hole, all right? So here's a floor lamp. And I'm not analyzing these at all. I'm literally going off of instinct alone at this point. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this corner lamp. Here's a product I gave out on the last product research sheet. It actually ended up doing very well for some people. Some like vintage signs. Like, what did I start with? Umbrella, and I'm in vintage bar signs. Okay, so this is a rabbit hole. Like, I'm just going deep. I'm just trying to be random and find things. And sometimes I'll click on things that I don't necessarily like, but I feel like clicking on them could lead me further down the rabbit hole, like this LED sign. Cocktails and dreams. It's kind of funny. Let's keep looking at some LEDs and see what else comes up. Now let's go to the baby stuff. Yeah, I'm not like slowing down, guys. I'm really just kind of going for it nonstop here. And this is what I do. And I just do this until I've got like 50, 60 tabs open. Occasionally I'll feel like I hit a dead end. See a little bit of retargeting sneaks in. But it's a really good way to follow the rabbit hole. So it's a beautiful photo. Now we're in plateware. There's even like some art in here. Those are some pretty plates. Let's see the stackable bowl set. These are kind of cool. So you see how many different niches I've like randomly in, and none of it was intentional. I'm just like doing the most random stuff I can. And the goal is just to keep digging through this rabbit hole and stumble on things. And I run like Viking stuff here. And to just stumble on things. Like that's the whole goal here, is just keep stirring the pot until you see things that stand out to you. Ouroboros snake. It's kind of cool. We have sculptures. We got Lady Justice here. You could target like people like attorneys, you know, like cops even. Police force. Home decor. More umbrellas. Portraits. All right, so let's say I've hit the end of the roll. Normally, I would just go back to the home page. And, you know, you can go like, I'll just click on just random like deals and go different categories, hot brands. I don't care where I look, guys. I'm just clicking randomly as possible and just trying to stir the pot. I don't want AliExpress to know what I'm interested in. I just want to keep being random. And then let's say you do feel like you've hit a dead end or a wall. What I'll do is I'll get my notebook out, okay, guys, and a pen, and I'll look at whatever page I'm on, and I'll just start writing down words that I see on there. So we got Onyx, Ace, Security, Invisible, Waste, Casual, Curly, let's see, Cable, Contrast, neck, design. Just writing words down, guys. It doesn't matter what they are, okay? Just write down random words that you see on your page. You don't even have to think. You're literally just looking on the page and just picking random words and writing them down, and then just write them and then just search for them, okay? Just mix match them. So let's do like onyx casual. Random stuff. Okay, this is what I love. I just love getting random stuff to show up because this is how you're going to find things nobody else has ever seen. All right, and then you're just trusting your instinct on what's eye catching and perceived value and understanding your customer, and you're going through that whole process. And and then you can swap it out. You can even add like onyx casual, and then say like, okay, well, I really want to find something in the decor category. You just add that in there, right? Decor. It didn't show up anything, so let's just remove a word. Well, onyx decor. Okay, we got a whole bunch of cool stones. This is how I'm just trying to show you guys how I get AliExpress to show me new things every day. And this is the process that I go through. It's very simple and it is extremely effective. But that is the Product Mastery webinar with a little bonus there that we just went over on how to find new things if if AliExpress has got you in a loop. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Really excited to hear what you guys thought of this and to see your results. If you start applying this stuff, you start working the bundle offers and you really start studying your audience a little bit better, I think that this is going to help you out tremendously. All right. So thanks for joining me.